Good morning, everybody. Okay, we have another update for you. Obviously, we're coming off of the heels of a messy situation yesterday. Now I'm joined by our executive producer, Terry Eliasen. Terry, we got another storm knocking on the door.
Here we go again.
Here we go again.
I got to admit, I got home last night and I didn't clean the driveway. I just said I was tired, and so you know what? We'll just throw another 6 inches on top and I'll clean it then.
And then you'll clean it then. Don't worry about that.
Or maybe I'll
later.
wait till the next storm and clean it. No, I know.
I was believing it. I was going to hang on with you here. But obviously, yeah, folks, we got another storm system likely to rear its ugly head late Saturday night through early Sunday. This is going to begin mainly as snow and likely end mainly as snow. We'll have a little bit of mixing here and there. But here's the key. It will be plowable for most areas, 6+ inches.
That's a cha-ching for a lot of plow drivers around the area. I think that they're starting to make up for lost time over the last couple of years. There haven't been many plowable events, and here we go. So winter storm watch up for Saturday night and Sunday morning. This is through the National Weather Service. Difference between a winter storm watch and a winter weather advisory, which is what we had for our last storm. Winter storm watch is it's a little bit beefier. So many times winter storm watches will get upgraded to winter storm warnings when you get to within 24 hours of the event. But basically what that means is those are areas that could receive 6 inches or more of snow. That's like the primary reason for issuing one of these. So clearly it gives you an idea that the National Weather Service is thinking all these areas in blue have a risk of 6 inches or more of snow. If you look at the satellite and radar right now, there's really, it's like, where's the storm? Like, there's really nothing going on much yet.
Where's Waldo? Just coming off, at least coming onshore in the West Coast earlier this morning, now raking through. You can see there in parts of the Rockies there between Idaho as well as northern Utah near Salt Lake City. Earlier, I saw some little minor snow chances moving through the region, and that's similar to what we have here, but obviously thousands of miles away. It has enough time, and also will have enough energy to gather moisture and really sort of flex as it gets into our region. Here's what we know right now. So again, the time frame is that late Saturday evening, minimal mixing chances because we're going to have plenty of cold air in place, locked in place actually. And the track as of right now lines up pretty much with where our numbers are in terms of the forecast. But, you know, Tara, we're still working on a few things there as well.
Yeah, I mean, so yesterday we saw some of the models had a little bit of a southward trend for the center of the storm. And ultimately, this one's going to depend on the track. And if it's right over what we call the benchmark, which is the 40-70, that long line, that's our sort of benchmark for storms here, for good snowstorms. And that's kind of what we're looking at right now. If it trends a little farther south, then the snow amounts and the precipitation amounts are a little bit less. But here's our latest timeline, as you can see by, whoa, and it just races right in. It races right in.
Yep. And look, you know, let me point out again, guys, we don't have that mixed thing going on.
Right.
This is mainly all snow.
So if you're out Saturday night, I would say between 9 and 11 in eastern Mass, and out in like central and western Mass, probably between 8 and 10, the snow comes in. And when it comes in, it kind of just right pedal to the metal, just means business. You can see some of those darker blues coming in overnight. So once it arrives between, like I said, 9 and midnight, it gets right down to business and probably starts tapering off Sunday morning between like 7, 8, 9 a.m. It'll be much lighter and spottier by then. The brunt of the accumulation is over by 8 a.m. So it's really like an 8 or 9 hours of accumulating snow, and then wouldn't be shocked if there are some lingering flurries even through midday on Sunday. So if you're heading out, Saturday night's good as long as you get home nice and early in bed. No staying out till 2 a.m., Jason.
Tuck yourself away. Tuck yourself away. You know what? I don't know. I'll be here on Sunday morning. I'll be doing some live reporting for our morning show on Sunday. So guys, we'll have you covered there along with another reporter as well. And we'll have an in-house meteorologist. So again, the roadways are going to be treacherous, especially the Mass Pike. Okay, that goes all the way through the state, at least for the most part. But again, a lot of the major thoroughfares here, primary and secondary, will have some issues there. I do trust our crews to be out salting and, you know, putting down that salt brine, getting the roadways ready. Yep. But as Terry was saying earlier, past that 9 p.m., 10 p.m. time frame, it's going to be on like a chicken bone through about 7 a.m. That is a southern saying there for you. Look at the numbers. Okay, here are the numbers in our forecast board. This falls right along with that track we were telling you earlier, about a 4 to 8 incher there. Again, more beefy, more meteor than the storm that we experienced yesterday.
Yeah, and at this point, I would lean towards sort of the higher end of that 4 to 8. We'll know a lot more. We got a lot of computer model data coming in the next few hours. We'll get all these updates, and so for tonight at 5, this may be the same. We may tweak a little bit, but my guess would be most of the folks in that dark blue area is probably 6, 7, 8 inches for most. The only reason why New Hampshire and Vermont are lower is because they're farther away from the storm. There's just not as much, we say QPF, not as much liquid, not as much precipitation up there to account for a lot of snow. But in the islands we have in the 2 to 4, it's a tricky call whether they have some mixing or not. They could end up getting 4 to 8 inches, but for most, it's just everybody gets 6, 7 inches of snow. And again, that is given the current track. Current track has it, again, pretty much right where you want it for a decent New England snowstorm. Right over, south of Nantucket. But again, yesterday we started seeing a few models come in with a little bit farther south, and if that happens, you see that bands of snow would slip further south and the totals would lower a little bit. Something we're watching, not biting on that shift yet, but we'll see over the next 24 hours what happens with all that. So I kind of threw this up. A lot of folks think this is kind of a cop-out, but this is kind of, our forecast is 4 to 8, right?
We're trying to cover you from A to Z.
There you go. So forecast is 4 to 8. If that track does shift south, we could be looking more 2 to 4. But I think the highest, higher end kind of totals, and I saw the National Weather Service had some 8 to 12 inch forecasts. So that would be sort of everything goes right. It's the perfect track. You get a couple decent snow bands, an inch or two an hour, and a little bit of a fluff factor. Put all that together, and there's a chance some folks get over 8 inches. But I don't think there'll be many foot totals, but I'm just saying that's sort of the upper limit for this particular storm. And this is a graphic we seem to throw up almost every other day here. Been 3 years since we had a 6-inch snowstorm in
It's always
Boston.
interesting to see. I mean, you see more than 1,000 days. For Boston, southern New England, not experiencing more than a 6-inch snow event, something is a little bit different.
I think we're due. This could be the one. I would say it's at least 50-50 for this particular storm, Boston getting 6 inches. If I was a betting man, I'd probably put some money down on it.
Okay.
But if not this one, we've got several more chances coming up over the next couple weeks. And just to show you what we've had so far this season, these are all the snow events in Boston so far. And you can see we had a couple, the December 20th and the January 19th, that were decent. But otherwise, it's just been, kind of a little here, a little there.
Looks like the stock market.
So here you go.
Up, and then it's down. And you're like, oh, is it going to do it? And then it doesn't do it.
Exactly.
But it is always better to over-prepare, okay? Not just speaking about schools closing or anything like that. It's always better to over-prepare, and because you never know. The blizzard of '78 was a prime example.
That's right, yeah. And that was 47 years ago on basically yesterday and today's date. This one's interesting because it's coming Saturday and Sunday, so obviously we won't have any school closings, but first storm we've had in a while that maybe we'll see a lot of church closings. And part of our storm closing system here, we have a lot of churches in there, so if you're one of those folks that are wanting to head out Sunday morning, my guess is a lot of church sort of closings, maybe delays, I don't know, but this is sort of a prime time Sunday morning type event, so we'll keep an eye on that. But here's our active pattern. So storm number 1 was yesterday, has already flown by. There's storm number 2 for this weekend. You can see storm number 3 already coming into view for early next week. So we could get a little something on Tuesday night into Wednesday. And then number 4, maybe, and this is on you were talking about this morning on your 7-day, could be later next week. And number 5 is already coming into California, and that could be something for either the following weekend or it just keeps going.
These are textbook representations of these systems as they're coming onshore here. You got a cold air out ahead of it. You got warm, moist air just acting on all of this energy here. So it's just firing a hose of activity over the next week or so. So we're going to, surprisingly continue with this thread of winter storms at least the next 7 days. This will actually take us into late February.
There seemingly is no end to this. So out in California, they've been, obviously that's kind of where all these storms are coming into. They've been calling it, sort of like a fire hose of moisture out there. And so it's just
atmospheric river.
And it's just one storm after another. And there's no guarantee that storm number 5 is going to be the last one in the series either. So, but we'll take one at a time. We'll start with Sunday and go from there. Things can change for next week, but Jason, as you said, going to be out in the elements Sunday morning. Excited to watch that.
I'll be there. I gotta find my boots.
Yeah, you better.
I gotta find those
better.
boots. Absolutely. All right, guys. So we'll keep you updated on this, and feel free to always ask us any sort of question, any sort of comment that you have. You're right along with us here in this event here. We're experiencing it as well. Many of us here at WBZ live all over southern New England, so we're right in here with you.